Okay. By the way, you should send that article to your doctor. Just a basilica is a private domain for the Sabbath, but a public domain for Tuma. Rabbi Yehuda says if he stands at this entrance and he sees those who enter and those who have leave at the other entrance, it is a private domain for this and for here that. But if not, it's a private domain for Shabbos and for a public domain for Tuma. A person in a private domain for the Sabbath and a public domain for Tuma. And similarly, the size of the Paron. Reb Meir says the size of the private domain for this and for that. The forefront bench area is a private domain for the Sabbath and a public domain for the Tuma. A courtyard which the public enters on one side and exits on the other side is a private domain in regard to the laws of Shabbos, but a public domain in regard to the laws of Tuma. A potter who puts out his pots and wants to
That's
drink.
me now. Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah.
I did three already?
Honestly, I lost my place at some point, and it felt I mean, they were quite short Mishnayos yesterday, so yeah, potentially. Let's take
Okay.
let's take them as read. They were all kind of along the same theme.
Right. Okay.
Public areas that are Rosh Hashanah Yachid for Shabbos and Rosh Hashanah Rabim for Tumah.
All right, so Zion. Oh, okay.
Okay, Hakadar. So a potter. So the speakers that we're going to be dealing with today are to do with an Am Haaretz. Okay, an Am Haaretz is somebody who's otherwise from, but it's just like not very, we don't see that he's particular about Tumah and Tara. And for Chaverim, if for a Chaver who's very particular about Tumah and Tara, he has to assume that an Am Haaretz has the status of a Zav. Okay, that if he steps on his clothing, then it'll become tamei. Hang on, there's a yeah. And the reason is brought in the Gemara why we treat him as having suspected the midrash of a zav, because Chachamim made a gezerah on the clothing of a. Hold on, oh no, that's big day. Beg your pardon. Rewind. It's not the Am Haaretz himself who's treated as a zav. It's his clothing is treated as midrash hazav, because the Gemara explains that the Chacham made this gezerah because maybe his wife, who was nida, slept on it. So nida and zav have got the same effect of sitting on the midrash. Will turn the midrash into something into an avhatoma. That tamei anyone who walks in it.
I'm confused about what this says. In English, it says a potter put down his pots and went down to drink. The inner one's a taho, while the outer one's a tamei.
Okay, I haven't even started the Mishnah yet. I'm just giving you the background.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Okay. All right. So this is so I'm just giving you the background over here, that the Am Haaretz himself is treated as if he himself is personally just tamei, and his clothing is treated as a possible midrash.
Okay.
Okay, so that's our basis over here. Now the potter. So we've got a potter who is a chaver, and he's put all his wares out in the street and the stall, and he thought, oh, I need a drink. I need to go to the bathroom or whatever. He goes out and then the Mishnah says he went down to the stream to drink or whatever, because that's just one possible case. Or he went inside to the bathroom and came out, and now he says, a lot of people have walked by now. What's going to be with my pots? Okay, so Panimios Tohoros. So the ones that are inside, the inner rows are fine. But Chitzonios Tameos, says the Tanna Kama. The outer row of pots, he has to assume are tamei, because maybe while he was away, an Am Haaretz came and picked them up, stuck his hand inside the room, and as soon as something tamei goes inside the interior of the klei cheres, it becomes tamei. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yossi B'mei Dvarim Amorim. So Rabbi Yossi qualifies this. He says, no, I don't agree with this entirely. This is only talking when the pots are loose. Aval ba'agudos, if the pots have been tied together such that the mouths are facing each other, and therefore the Amaretz would not have access to the interior of the pot. Remember, a Kli cannot contract tuma from the exterior. Then everything is tahor. However, the Tanakama is still suspicious about this. He says that maybe he picked it up, felt it, put it back. So, Hamoser maftechola amaretz. Now, a different case. If a chaver gives his key, the key to his house, to an am haaretz, and habayis tahor, that doesn't change anything about the status of the house, because why? Shelo masar lo ela shmir samaftech. All he said is just please look after my key. The handing over the key to his house does not imply that the guy's got the right to now go and walk around his house. So the Amaretz is not going to be so chutzpahdik that he's going to walk into the house and start touching stuff. All he's got is looking after the key, and there's no reason to believe that he started acting like a ganav. Okay. Mishnah Beis. Hamaniach am haaretz besoch beiso. Now let's go a little further. There was an am haaretz inside his house, and Amar is sitting on the couch, and he says, just a minute, I need to go out for a few minutes. So the chaver goes out and comes back in. He left him awake and comes back and finds him awake. Or he left him sleeping and comes back and finds him still sleeping. Or he left him awake and comes back and finds him sleeping, right? Habayis tahor, then the house is still fine. Nothing has changed. Because the Amharitz is not gonna, like, he doesn't want to be caught like wandering around and touching stuff. Okay, so we presume that he he stayed where he was and didn't touch anything. Yashan umetza or air. However, if he left the Amharitz sleeping, and then he comes back and finds him awake, now the problem is that the bias is habayis tameh divrei Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir says this is a problem, because the Amaretz woke up and thought, the Balabayas left me here sleeping. He thinks I'm still sleeping, so he can go wander. He feels a little more secure to go wandering around and touching things. Okay, the Chachamim omrim ein tamei ela ad makom shehu yachol lifshot es yado veliga. The only things that we consider to be tamei are places where without moving, he could reach out and touch. Okay. Hamaniach umanim besoch beiso. He leaves the workers in his house. So he has a bunch of workers coming and doing stuff in his house. Habayis tamei divrei Rabbi Meir. So Rabbi Meir says these guys have got the right of the house. So if he goes out and isn't supervising the workers all the time, then the workers feel quite at ease to go around touching everything inside the house. So then, if everything in the house that's makabel tuma is going to become tameh, because these Amaretz workmen are going to be touching everything. Chachamim ein tameh ela ad makom shehen yicholim lifshot es yadam v'liga. Again, the Chachamim say we don't suspect them of going wandering around the whole house. Only things that are within their reach from the place that they're working, I think we will suspect to be tameh. Okay.
The Reb Meir says this about many other things about women who go into to work with someone else, or they do baking bread, or they're mixing things. He says this all the time, that they're tummy. They're always right. Am I correct in that?
I'm not sure. What I do is there an?
I'm thinking of other Mishnayos where somebody Aris was working with someone who was a kaver, they went and they helped each other. They did something, and he always says, as far as I remember, that would be that the person would then the articles or whatever, the food or whatever would be tummy.
I honestly don't remember. I don't remember anything that separates Rabbi Meir from Chachamim in that thing. I'm not saying you're wrong, but that one didn't stick in my mind. But let's keep an eye out for that.
All right, I will.
Okay.
We're on Tohoros, and we are in Daled Tes. An uncertainty of tumor involving beverages with regard to acquiring tumor is deemed tummy. How so? If a tummy person stretches his leg among tahor beverages and it is uncertain whether he touched the beverages or did not touch them, the uncertainty is ruled tummy. If there was a tummy loaf in one hand and he threw it among tahor beverages, and it's uncertain whether the loaf touched the beverages or did not touch them, the uncertainty is tummy. And an uncertainty concerning the beverages with regard to conveying tuma is ruled tahor. How so? If there was a staff in one's hand and its tip there was a tummy beverage and he threw it among the tahor loaves, and it's uncertain whether the liquid touched the loaves or it did not touch them, the uncertainty is ruled tahor. Rabbi Yossi says a tuma uncertainty of beverages is with regard to food. It is ruled tummy with regard to utensils. It is ruled tahor. How so? If it were two laos, one tummy, one tahor, and he made a dough using one of them, and it's uncertain whether he made it from the tummy water or made it from the tahor water, this is an uncertainty concerning beverages, which with regard to food is ruled tummy, but with regard to utensils is ruled tahor. And uncertainty among concerning tuma of hands with regard to acquiring tuma, to convey tuma, and to becoming tuma is deemed tahor. And uncertainty in the public domain is deemed tahor, and uncertainty regarding rabbinical edicts if one ate tummy foods or drank tummy vegetables, or if one's head and the greater part of the body enters into drawn water, or if 3 lugim of drawn water fell into one's hand and the head and the greater part of his body, the uncertainty is deemed tahor. But regarding something which is an avatuma of rabbinic enactment, it certainly is deemed tummy.
Okay. Oops.
And para. Zion bait. If someone fills with one hand and performs a different activity with his other hand, or if he fills for himself and another, and he fills with 2 people simultaneously, both are disqualified for a different activity and validates during the filling whether it is for himself or for somebody else. If someone sanctifies the water and with one hand and performs a different activity with the other hand, it is for himself, it is disqualified. But if it's for someone else, it is valid. If someone sanctifies for himself and someone else, it is thus qualified, but the water of the other person is valid. If someone sanctifies water for 2 people at once, both are valid. Sanctify for me, and then I will sanctify for you. The first one is valid. Fill for me, and then I will fill for you. The last one is valid. Sanctify for me, and then I will fill for you. Both are valid. Fill for me, and then I will sanctify for you. Both are disqualified. Okay. Was that
Tohoros, yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay, Daled Gimel. Gimel Daled. How so? If a corpse is outside and its hair is inside the house, it becomes tummy. The bone has on it an outside piece of flesh. If the part of this bone is brought under the roof of a house, the commons of the house become tummy. There are 2 bones, each of which has on it a half of outside piece of flesh. If part of each bone is brought under the roof of a house, the contents of the house become tummy. If they were attached by man, the house becomes tummy, but wherever is attached by man is not considered an inherent attachment. What qualifies as death blood? An eighth of a log of blood flowed out of a dying person while he was still alive, and an eighth flowed out after he died. These are the words of Rabbi Kiva. Rabbi Ishmael says, a quarter log of blood that flowed out while the person was alive, and a quarter log that flowed out after his death were combined. And from this mixture, a quarter log was taken. Rabbi Elliot says, the son of Rabbi Huda, Elliot, the son of Rabbi Huda, said, both of these are like water. What is death blood? When there is a hanged person whose blood was flowing out and a quarter log of blood was found beneath him, the blood is tummy. But if a coarse blood was dripping and a quarter log of blood was found underneath it, blood is tahor. The Yehuda says not so, rather that which flows out is tahor, and that which drips is tummy. An olive-side piece of corpse in a room that must have an opening of 1 handbreadth, and a whole corpse must have an opening of 4 handbreadths to prevent tumor from spreading to the other openings, but to allow tumor to spread, 1 square handbreadth suffices. If it is larger than the volume of an olive, it is treated as a whole corpse. And Rabbi Yossi says the spinal column and the skull are treated like a whole corpse.
Okay.
And we have Malachos. Test Aleph. There were 2 dried measures in the temple, the Issaron and the half Issaron. The mayor says an Issaron and Issaron, an Issaron and Issaron and a half Issaron. What was the function of the Issaron? All mincha offerings were measured in it. One did not measure with one of the 3 Isserons for the bull, nor with one of the 2 Isserons for the ram. Neither he measured Isser them by an Isseron. What was the function of the half Isseron? Because Vitam of the Kohen Gadol were measured in it, half in the morning and half in the afternoon. There were 7 liquid measures in the temple: a kale, a hin, a half a hin, and a third of a hin, and a fourth of a hin, a log, a half log, and a quarter log. If Eliezer ben Zadok says they were notches in the hymn until here for the bull, and they were told for the ram, and until for the lamb. Reb Shimon says there was no hymn for him, or what function did the hymn serve? Rather, there was a large measure of a log and a half, which one would measure with a mink offering of the Kohen Gadol, and a log and a half in the morning, and a log and a half in the afternoon. What was the function of a quarter log? A quarter log of water for the mitzvah, a quarter log of oil for the nazir. What was the function of a half log? A half log of water for a sota, and a half log for the toda offering. They measured all mikvah offerings with the log. Even for a mikvah offering of 60 Israel, one supplies to them 60 log. Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov says even a mikvah offering of 60 Israel contains only one log, and it's stated for a mikvah offering and a log of oil, 6 for the bull, 4 for the ram, and 3 for the lamb, and 3.5 for the menorah, on the basis of a half a log for each lamp. Okay, and Yud Aleph Gimel. If one's wife said, Kohanim, what I benefit from people, cannot revoke it, and she can benefit from the gleaning, the forgotten sheaf, and the corner of the field. If one said, Kohanim, or Levium, benefiting from me, they may take it against his will. Kohanim, these are Kohanim, or these are Levium, benefiting from me, others may take it. If one's wife said, Kohanim, my handiwork to father, or to your father, to my brother, or to your brother, he is unable to revoke it. Kohanim, I work to you, he need not revoke it. If Akiva says he should revoke it lest she produce more than his due. If Yochanan ben Nori says he should revoke it lest he divorce her, and then she will be forbidden to him. If his wife vowed and he thought that it was his daughter who had vowed, or if his daughter vowed and he thought it was his wife, one who vowed, or if she vowed to become a Nazareth, and he thought that she be vowed concerning an offering, or she vowed concerning an offering, and he thought that she had vowed to become a Nazarite, or if she made a neder prohibiting figs and thought that she was made a neder prohibiting grapes, or if she made a neder prohibiting grapes and he thought that she had made a neder prohibiting figs, he must revoke the neder again. If she said, Kohen, these figs and grapes with respect to my tasting them, and he confirmed the neder with regard to figs, he becomes confirmed in its entirety. And if he revoked the neder with regard to figs, it is not revoked until he revokes. It is not revoked until he revokes with regard to grapes as well. If she said, Kohen on figs with respect to my tasting.
It's a second. We were in Vav now, right? We up to Hayes. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. And
okay. Hey, right here. 1 second. What's going on? Okay. All right. And after Nadarim, what are we going to do then? After Nadarim, we finish tomorrow.
Oh, when we finish Nadarim is Nazir.
Nazir. Okay. Gimel Aleph. One may eat a chance meal from the dough until it is rolled with wheat and until it has been kneaded with adhesive lump with barley. Once she has rolled out the wheat and kneaded it into a cohesive lump out of barley, one who eats it is liable to the death penalty. As soon as she pours the water, she lifts off her challah, provided that there are 5/4 of flour there. If her dough became a duma because she rolled it out, it's exempt because the duma is exempt. After she rolled it out, it is liable if a doubt to an uncleanliness arose about it before she rolled it out. It may be made in cleanliness, and after she rolled it out, it must be made in cleanliness. If she dedicated her dough before she rolled it out and redeemed it, it is liable. After she rolled it out and redeemed it, it is liable. If she dedicated it before she rolled it out and the treasurer rolled it out and therefore she redeemed it, it's exempt because at the time when he rendered it liable, it was exempt.
Okay.
Beautiful
Shabbos.
Great Shabbos. Enjoy. Relax.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.